The idea of what's a global title, I think is always like the wrong question to me, because I think people when you're trying to make something for everyone, you make it for no one.
Bela Bajaria, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Maneet. I'm happy to be here.
So we've had a fun ride all year. I've trailed you to MSG fights and movie premieres and backstage at various events. And so you've been at Netflix for nearly 10 years now, currently leading global content operations, an $18 billion budget that spans original series, films, global programming, and of course, live sports. What's your take on the media and entertainment landscape right now?
Look, I think for us, I could talk about, what we do at Netflix, which I'm excited about, is that we have, over 700 million people all around the world. And I think if you can look at a media landscape at any point, including this one, it really is about great storytelling. Do you make something, a film or a TV show, a live event, that really captures the hearts and minds? Members and audiences, our members want to watch lots of different things, and they have lots of different tastes. And for me, looking at, even with all of the different things going on in the media landscape, and whether it's mergers and acquisitions and all of this, in the end of the day, consumers want choice and control, and they want to be entertained. And I think we win, we try to win our members' time every day of just making that great next story that just surprises you. Something like Adolescence comes along, or the all-women's boxing match that you talked about at MSG, right? The largest women's sporting event of 2025, right? And so to me, it's really about, with any of the changes, it's always about the best storytelling in the world.
So you mentioned Adolescence, and there's also Squid Game, and these are cultural phenomenons, right? So that have also broken past through ratings records. What do you think some of the key characteristics and factors are that kind of led to these global events?
Yeah.
They've basically they've impacted regulation globally, right? They've changed how we think about content and its impact.
Yeah. I think what's so amazing about, if you take Squid Game, a show made in Korean by Koreans, right, very local specific storytelling from director Wong, a writer, creator who was writing something very personal, right, about class and money and sort of what you do sort of in a time for desperation. And Adolescence actually came from a very specific idea from Jack Thorne and Stephen Graham, and they were really looking at specific knife crimes, right, in the UK. And they told both of those, and by the way, in Stranger Things is so much of the way the Duffers write it, and what Wednesdays, they come from very culturally specific places, really authentic story. And then we launch it to all of our members around the world at the same time. And that, I think, really specific, authentic storytelling really transcends borders, languages, and has connected with people. And I think when people look at some of these big global shows that have such cultural impact, they really come from a very specific place. And I think that's the thing that really transcends, because it's something that connects with universal themes. I think if you look at just recently, right now we have an animated movie called K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yes.
It is just fandom.
The biggest rage.
People of all ages singing the songs. It has connected with people. But if you think about it, it's K-pop Demon Hunters, it's a very specific cultural thing as far as the music and cultural things that we're exploring, and that has connected with people all over the world. So I think what all of those things have in common that really impact culture in this way are that they all come from a very authentic, specific place. You can't manufacture that. It has to come from supporting a vision of a story that a creator wants to tell.
And you have said that local stories have universal resonance. So talk to us a little bit about that, right? K-pop Demon Hunters, Squid Game, Adolescence, as you mentioned, they're specific to the regions. So Netflix actually produces content specific to the local region, not targeting the global.
Yes, and for us, we've always, we have audiences around the world, and we make local stories, right? So it's culturally specific. It's authentic. You're making a show, whether it's in Mumbai or Madrid or Mexico City. It is a very local story. And we make that and we launch it to all of our members at the same time. And so people can discover something in their own country, but also from a different country. And that is really, the goal. And so I think, the idea of what's a global title, I think is always like the wrong question to me, because I think people when you're trying to make something for everyone, you make it for no one. And for us, what we've seen time and time and time again, the honesty and the truth in somebody's very specific story will resonate, because so many things, right? Universal themes and family and love and loss and so many of those things, right? Unite all of us, and you can see that reflected in your own country and culture and language, but you can also discover so many of those things, right, from a different country's story. So that's really what we have focused on.
To your point, authenticity can't be faked. It needs to be actually present in the moment. So, yeah. So it's arguably been one of Netflix's biggest years on record. I mean, last year you guys crossed 300 million subs. Stock was at 1,200 as of this morning, up 40% on the back of strong earnings, 18 Academy Award nominations, 3 wins, 7 Golden Globes. I could go on and on. Kicking off the second half, how does all of the successes and the input that you received during the year impact how you plan going forward?
What I think is really exciting about, or it's been a great year so far, and looking at really back half of 2025 for us, it is really incredible because we have big returning fan favorites like Wednesday and Stranger Things. We have new things like K-pop Demon Hunters that just came out. Beloved Happy Gilmore 2, came out and is just huge, and people love it and has brought so much joy to people. And there's, and so many people like rewatch it.
The cameos in that one were pretty incredible.
Yes, I think it was like 75 cameos and counting. It was something, yes, but it was incredible. Like so many people wanted to be a part of that. But looking at, the rest of the year, there's the film slate between having, we have Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, which is just cinematically beautiful, and Catherine Bigelow doing House of Dynamite, which is edge of your seat, so compelling, and beautiful, and Noah Baumbach doing Jack Kelly. So the film slate is really strong. But what's so interesting, all of those movies very different from each other, but really, really kind of best in class of what they're doing. Big returning seasons for us, and then we have, again, the 2 NFL games on Christmas Day. And so it's a really great lineup. But again, people watch so many different kinds of things. And I think sometimes people look at an audience too narrow, right? We know that people will watch NFL games and Love is Blind, right? People will watch...
You talked about this at the upfronts, right? And I found that fascinating. I think the stat was over 50% of people will watch Love is Blind and a thriller, right? And live sports.
Yeah, it's a really, and I think, you think about sports. So like people watch the NFL game and then they're going to watch, right? And they also are going to watch K-pop Demon Hunters and, and Knives Out Mystery. I mean, there's such a mix. And so what I love and what we always look for, there's no way to look at really this year and just kind of go, okay, well, how do you game the next 2 years? It's not that. It is each one of those things where a great story came in the door and we backed that vision. And even if when others can pull back on making new shows, movies, we just keep leaning in, right? Do we continue to take big swings and risks? And that's all over the world, right? We're doing this in 50 different countries and 50 different languages. Like we are making local stories like movie and television in all of these countries. And then, looking ahead even to something like, 2027, we have the Women's World Cup in the U.S. And so again, it's looking ahead of like, what are those great things that people can be really excited about, and how do we continue to surprise people? And how do we continue to have a slate that's strong, that if you're in the mood, when you go home, if you're in the mood, you're like, I'm in the mood for a comedy, or I'm in the mood for an immersive drama, right? Like whatever mood you're in, that, do we have something that you click play and you're like, oh, I loved watching that.
So I know we're almost out of time. I just have two quick last questions. So first off, you mentioned global, and obviously Netflix's global dominance is something that has to be acknowledged. I think you mentioned, right? We operate in 50 different languages, I think in 190 countries, right? Yeah. So, but you have oversight over all of that. So as a leader, as a business leader and one of the world's most influential media executives, how do you differentiate between how you lead in all of these key markets?
Look, I think it's what's been amazing is that I think, I'd always say like one of my superpowers is that I hire great people and I empower them. I let them do their job. And so I think from early on, having a culture at the company, right, which, there is sort of a lot of autonomy of like, distributed decision making. It's hiring great people, right, in people who run India, Germany, Turkey, Brazil, like having great people, local executives who speak the language, who come from the local creative community there, and, they make those decisions. And for me, it's always important for two things. One, understand the culture, right, of that country, understanding sort of like it for the teams and talent, right, so to get sort of deeper and travel there and really try to, understand their culture and be supportive of that. And the other thing is to make sure that I create an environment for my teams so they create an environment for their teams in every one of those countries that is creative and fluid and fun and responsive and just excited about what we're doing, which again in turn creates that for creators and filmmakers working with us. And so I think, the best way to scale that kind of feeling or values for us, because look, we want to be the best place for talent to work, period. And we want to have the best entertainment in the world for our members, period. So to do that, it's hiring, I think, the right people and giving them room to do their thing.
Well, it's clear in the end product. And so one key aspect of leadership that everyone is grappling with is how AI is transforming how we work across all industries in unprecedented ways. From a content perspective, how are you thinking about it in the entertainment industry from a high level and also from a production standpoint?
Yeah. Look, I think, for AI, in entertainment, right, for me, I really look at it and just go, okay, there's innovation and there's this technology, and it really is in the hands of the creators and filmmakers, right? And some filmmakers really have always, from the beginning of time, right, been able, and been interested in technology and innovation, and is that, again, in visual effects and previs, and what are all the different ways, to use AI. And I think if it helps creators, it's tools for creators and filmmakers, and if it helps them feel like they can realize a vision, or it helps them enhance something that they want to do, or they think it can help make the movie better, right? I think it really, for me, is just, it's just a different tool in the toolbox for filmmakers who want to embrace that. And that, we support, but I really think it's tools for them.
Final question. What are some of your top watches on Netflix right now?
Top watches. Ooh, we have so many good titles. Okay. I'd say so many. Okay, K-pop Demon Hunters, if you haven't watched, you must. The songs are so...
That's what I keep hearing from like the little 7-year-olds all the way up to adults.
Yes, for sure. And you will watch it and then you'll be singing it in the shower. Because the songs are very catchy. I do think having Return of Wednesday is incredible, and Stranger Things, it's the series finale, and it is incredible. It is emotional, and it is everything you love about growing up with these kids and kind of and finishing the journey. And I would definitely say that Frankenstein, J. Kelly, and House of Dynamite, like must watch for sure. Mm-hmm. And New Knives Out must do too. But there's just great, a lot of great things coming up.
Bela, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks so much.